Welcome to Ask the Trade Pros, a show where a couple of trade guys talk about trade stuff. We're here to answer your questions about your HVAC, electrical, plumbing, and other home systems, so you can keep your home running smoothly. I'm Todd.
And I'm Jordan. As summer approaches us again, we wanted to take some time to revisit a favorite topic. As the temperatures rise, you need to know what to do to troubleshoot your air conditioner.
We get calls from customers all the time about their air conditioning not cooling. We know that some of these summer days can be hot enough to boil an egg or fry an egg on the sidewalk, which is a big problem. So today we're going to go over some of the most common reasons that your AC might not be working and what you can try to do. So if you're having problems with your air conditioner, the first thing you want to check is your thermostat. Does it use batteries?
Maybe your spouse turned it up.
Maybe your spouse turned it up or down. So thermostats nowadays, some still utilize batteries, but more commonly now we're finding thermostats that are smart thermostats or Wi-Fi thermostats. And those thermostats do not require batteries. They utilize what's called a C-wire or a common wire to get their power. So AC is not cooling. Walk up to the thermostat, as Jordan said, see if your spouse or significant other turned it off or turned it down, or if the screen's blank. Check those batteries if it has batteries. Make sure it's set to cooling, most importantly, and check that set temperature. Sometimes some of these thermostats, somebody schedules or sets a schedule and it will be on permanent hold and it will think that it's not cooling to whatever set point you have it to.
Yeah, I've taken that call where somebody slides the button too far and it's on heat instead of cool and they complain it doesn't work. Well, you know.
I've had two of them last year alone, both thermostats set to heat, and customer wondered why it was hot.
Hey, some like it hot.
Here's your answer.
So if you've gone and you've checked the thermostat and you've ruled out any problem with the thermostat that you can be aware of, one of the next things you're going to want to do is take a look at your air filter. Air filters are very important for the performance of your air conditioner, especially on newer air conditioners where airflow is very sensitive to reductions. So on your air filter, it depends on what type of air filter you have. Many people have washable filters. Some people might have disposable filters. Some people have what they call throwaway filters, which are just disposable filters that are super thin. Some people might have a high MERV rating filter. Now, MERV is a measurement that tells you how many of the particles and how small of a particle that the filter will catch. The higher the MERV rating, the more things your filter will catch, but also the more restrictive your filter is for your allowing air flow through to your air conditioner. Now, when you go to your filter, pull it out, take a look at it, make sure it's clean, hold it up to the light, see if you can see light through it. I found very often drywall or interior repairs done on the house and the white dust will get onto the filter. People will pull it out and show me, look, it's clean. But if you take it outside and you hit it, it looks like you're shaking a rug. So take the filter out, make sure it's clean, make sure it gets good airflow, you can see through it, or that it's of a new state. Once you've done that, you may need to also reset the air conditioner if it's frozen up or anything because of a dirty filter. It will take a couple of hours to melt and reset.
So after checking your filter, if your AC still isn't cooling, it could be a power issue. There's a few things that you can identify to see what's going on with your system, whether you can fix it or not, or you'll have to call on a professional to take a look at it. You can, however, gather information and give that person a better idea of what to expect when they arrive on scene. So depending on what type of system you have, if you have a split system, meaning typically a condenser unit outside on the ground, or if you have a package unit, which is a all-in-one system on the roof, you could identify first, do you have any cool air coming out of the vents, or is it just blowing hot air?
So why would that be relevant for them, Todd?
Well, if it's in the summertime and they want cooling, if it's blowing hot air, that I'm sure that's going to be pretty relevant.
Sometimes the unit might freeze up or the blower's not working. So if you're not getting air out there, it's notes for the technician that will come out as to what may be the problem.
Yeah. So if you're getting no air, but you could hear it running, it would most likely be that your coil's frozen, you're having a leak, something's going on that you're not getting any airflow coming through those vents. If you're getting warm air or just cool air, that means that your blower motor motor is working, and more than likely it's your condensing side of it that's not working. If it's a split system and on the ground, you can go outside and see if that big fan on top is spinning. That's your outdoor fan. If that's not spinning or you hear no noise at all, more than likely that could be a power issue and be something as simple as a fuse or a breaker that needs to be reset, etc.
So I've gone out to a lot of calls where a customer will tell me, hey, this air conditioner's not blowing air. It's not working at all. It's really blowing air. It's just blowing room temperature, which means it's not working, but the air is blowing out fine, right? The blower, there's no problem with the blower. Obviously, when we get room temperature air, our perception is different and we think it's not cooling. So what are a couple of ways that the customer can make sure that the air conditioning is not working properly?
Well, that's a good question. So most homeowners probably have some sort of thermometer, whether it be a meat thermometer or laser thermometer, or really any type of thermometer. And what you could do is you could go to your supply vent and
Explain what the supply vent is.
Supply vent is where all of the air is coming out of the vents, your supply air. That's in air conditioning. It's going to be where the cold air comes out of the vents. Your return vent is where the air is going to return into the air conditioner. So typically that's going to be where your filter is located. Is it in the ceiling or is it below your furnace? Every house is different. Some have them on the floors of the home. So you'll need to first identify that. But what you can do is you could take that thermometer, put it in the supply vent, and let it sit there for 5 or 10 minutes, see what temperature is coming out of the vents. Once you get that temperature, you could then put it in your return vent. Again, let it sit there for 5 or 10 minutes and see what the return air temperature is. And you always want your supply temperature to be, I would say, a good number, depending on the day of the summer, is a minimum of 18-degree difference. Typically, they say 20 degrees is good, but really that's going to tell you if, in fact, it's cooling or if there is a larger problem at hand.
So if I saw a number that was 10, that would be a problem, right?
I would say it's a problem. Some people, it might be a good number, but not to me. From there, I would just gather that information. That way you have it. The technician who's going to come out has a better idea of what parts they might need or a head start on the diagnostics part of it.
And one of the other things I often see in the summer, Todd, is we'll have lightning storms here. We have lightning strikes, power surges, brownouts, things of that nature. They will short cycle the compressor, and what that means is they turns on and off within a second too fast. That causes your compressor to do a lockout. And so the air conditioner will appear not to work, but it will often reset itself shortly after that. I've gone to a ton of calls where somebody calls, it doesn't work, but by the time we show up, because it takes an hour or 2 hours to get to the location, the compressor has come back on and the unit is working again. Now that you've tried all these things and your AC is still not working, don't get frustrated. We know it's really hot in your house. Don't rip the thermostat off the wall. Don't kick the condenser. It's time for you to call in a trade professional for a more thorough inspection.
Thank you for joining us today. If you liked what you heard, subscribe so you don't miss a future episode. We release new episodes every other Tuesday.
And if you have any questions about how your home works or need help with anything trade related at your home, leave us a voicemail or email us, and we may talk about it on the show. That information on how to contact us is in the show notes.
As always, thank you to Done Right Services for sponsoring this podcast.